Russian leather at the time was a luxury leather, primarily made from reindeer. Patriot Leather Goods. This is the Murphy. So let's get this open. Kind of a rough cotton bag. Let's open this up. Man, it has a very pungent smell to it. This is a slim wallet. This is natural, but comes in various colors and leather types. You can see what really makes this stand out, and I'm giving you a long explanation today about this particular leather, this particular texture, and even the smell that comes with this. There is a lot of history to it. We can see this is all one piece of leather that's folded and then sewn in this nice crisscross pattern here in the back. Take a look at this really quick. Open it up. Patriot Leather Goods. This is the Metta Catharina culata. This is the leather type, which is given that name from, well, we'll talk about that boat. Wowzer. The instant you have this wallet in your hands, the distinct aroma of offhand smell, kind of like a campfire, really hits you. But there's a deeper story about this type of leather, its tanning method, and how it was rediscovered. From a feature perspective, let's look at this. We have an exterior security flap right here. Maintains the wallet from accidentally opening. Then we flip it over. We have two exterior card slots. The main one in this slit right here that goes into the interior. And then I'm going to say the second one works right here. This acts with compression. So when you have this wallet full of other cards and cash, then you really are able to maintain a card here. This is, I would say, your quick access card slot. This also functions the same way. If we open it up, we have one internal cash slot right here, main card compartment. Shorter notes fit in with one fold. Taller notes will require folding. And a good example of what that is, taller notes. See, you're gonna have to get them in because they're not gonna fit that way. But if you have, shorter notes, you can see how that fits in very nicely. A lot of shorter notes in the world, and so you can actually just fold it once and put it in that way. That's what I mean by way of taller or shorter notes. It measures 3.7 by 3.1 by 0.4, and it weighs 1.3 ounces or 38 grams. It may have a unique aroma, but that aroma comes from the tanning process, which is very unique. I'll take you through the details after we see how this wallet works. Notice I got 8 cards in here, as well as, 5 slips of cash. I had 6. This 10-pounder was just a little too tall. If you might have noticed during that process, the company makes no recommendation on the number of cards, so really load it up. And you'll notice that I was able to slip these cards in here, and they aren't easily coming out. They're not as tight as other wallets that provide this type of functionality, but you can also, I would say, have the option of just putting a card right here. You have it in your pocket. Again, it's providing a little bit of potential falling out, but it is also quick access. I would actually prefer to just put it in here. And of course, quick access here if you're really paranoid about that kind of thing. This is designed in the United States and made in the United States. It's made from one piece of tanned horse rump leather, now produced in Italy using a rediscovered technique from famous Russian tanneries in the 1700s. This leather is really very supple to the feel, but it's also very durable. Oh, look at the pull-up. You can see the pull-up there that was going on. That is awesome. Just love that. And it comes together via this corset sewing that I mentioned before, pattern on the back, and the edges are rough cut. They're not really burnished at all. It's a rough cut, which I think fits this type of leather really well. So, why the name Metta Catharina culata? Well, let's talk. It's a tale of Italian Genoa traders who filled up a brigantine, that's a ship, with hemp and Russian leather. Russian leather at the time was a luxury leather, primarily made from reindeer. Reindeer leather, yeah, they had lots of those back then. And using a tanning method that was not known to European or American tanneries at the time. They actually tried to replicate the process, but they failed. Now, Captain Tweed commanded the ship. Now, this isn't him, but it kind of looks like a fellow who would captain a ship like that. Anywho, the ship was called the Die Frau Metta Catharina. It's not in a bottle like this, but you get the idea. It sailed from St. Petersburg with its Russian cargo intact, and the expectations is it would show up in Genoa, Italy. But as you would expect in a seafaring tale, there was a big storm. Captain Tweed moved the ship to a sound, Plymouth Sound, no, not that one, for protection. But alas, the storm was too great, and with the crew seeing that all was going to be lost, they scurried ashore, at which point the Metta Catharina went down with all of its cargo in 1786. Now, enter intrepid divers in 1973 who found the ship, the bell, and the ship's nameplate. In so doing, they found leather, this leather, the Russian leather, and reverse engineered the tanning process. So how did Russian tanners do it? Well, it took upwards of 4 months to complete the Russian method, which included key tanning elements, specific tannins, animal fats, natural oils, and crucially natural wood tars. Now, this creates that resilient, smoky, kind of robust smell we have, but also deals with pests, bacteria, and other problems at the time. And I'd say even humans, depending on how you wave this. Anyway, they would also apply the crisscross pattern, which is also indicative of Russian leather. Now, here's a picture one more time that you haven't seen it enough already about the Russian leather. Now, back to the regularly scheduled review. As of this recording, this is priced for $75. Very easy to use, but works best if you have a proper number of cards and or cash. And we have that in here, and it functions really nicely. I like that the majority of the currency types around the world only require to be folded once, and they're easily accessed from here in the back. You cannot use this as a cash wrap. If we get cash out of here, then we can see how that just does not work very well. Let's just try this for fun. So we will insert these into the back right here. And well, let's just put them in the front where it's easy. Since cash for me is something I have emergency, I don't really use a ton of it. And so let's see. Well, that didn't work very well for us. All right, well, let's just call this no worky. I mean, it starts to interfere. You got to push this back. I'm sure you can get that in there. And you know what? Done right, you probably could get it. But generally, cash wraps have a little more space at the top to handle the flap that comes over. But regardless, it's wide enough. That's what's important. Now, with no card cash separation going on in here, especially here in the back, it just is a slit that goes in. We do have card clash, which means that cards will rub against each other. Oh, there's one more note sitting in here. There we go. And so with them rubbing against each other, you'll probably see some wear and tear over time. That's just the way it's built, and it was done to keep this as thin as possible. Now, I love the reproduction of the classic Russian leather tanning method, but whew, this aroma is honestly a bit much for me. Now, we all realize leather is strong, but the small gap of leather that exists right here on both sides, right there and right there, is a bit concerning to me, as it could be a tearing point. That said, Samuel, the owner of Patriot Leather Goods, has some amazing shell Cordovan Murphy wallets that if you like the wallet, but not sure about the smell or this particular type of leather, I would highly suggest you look at that. I'd also recommend you look at the other wallets he has, one in particular called the Ridgeway. I really love that. Now on to the final score. For quality of 4, price of 3, features of 3, usability of 4, very easy to use, and perception of 4. I really like what he's done here. You don't very often see horse rump leather being used. That gives us a final score, 3.7 out of 5. If you like this video, then watch this one next, and we'll see you in the next review. Goodbye.